Hello, this is Arvahat, and welcome to episode 8 of Hardcore Failures. This is a special episode where I'm going to analyze how I did in the previous 7 episodes and try to determine what I did good, what I did bad, and what are some things that I could do to try to make things better for next time. Since most of the replies in the previous couple episodes were indicating that Minecraft would be a nice Season 2. That is currently my plan, but if you disagree, or if there are some details you'd like, go ahead and post them in the comments and we can take a look and see how things go from there. This video is a little bit different from a normal Let's Play, so if you are not interested in it, I would completely understand, but we can maybe we can kind of count it as a clip show where it's just filler. Or maybe not. I don't know. You tell me if there's any interest in this kind of stuff in the future, and we can maybe do it a little bit different for Season 2 if I ever end up dying in that, which is probably pretty likely. So let's start with the good. Shields were easily the best idea I had. The use of my first ingot on a shield was something I would definitely do in the next series. It has saved me over and over and over and again and again and again. From running around in the overworld, being attacked by skeletons, accidentally attacking dogs, fighting zombies by the mob spawner, and the numerous creepers explosions where I couldn't finish them off perfectly and had to rely on the shield to save me. I would definitely use the shield again as a first ingot and think it is a great addition to the game. I do not miss being able to block with a sword because that was only kind of helpful, and that is that. So I failed to make a bed early, and that was very frustrating in that I had to wait until dark was done so I could do things outside safely, because in the hard mode all the creatures are so much more difficult that I couldn't risk just running around willy-nilly. So I think that it's important to establish that bed and get that thing going, because it really made a difference afterwards. Sped things up, made it easier to skip today. And it's something that I had overlooked a little bit, but I am definitely looking forward to getting a bed earlier next time. Establishing a base over a pit was very helpful. I did it a couple times in this one, and it just makes it very easy to access both the overworld and the cavern systems below. You don't have to dig around and mine and create a whole bunch of mine shafts and all that stuff. It's already there, saves a lot of time, very easy access to minerals and all that other good stuff. I think that's a good focus. Being cautious in this series, I did a lot of things that I wouldn't normally do if I weren't playing in the hardcore mode. Really putting the focus on the armor, making sure I'm not stuck out at night. I have a place where I can be away from monsters. You know, death is final in this, so it made a big difference. So I put a lot of emphasis on being cautious, maybe a little bit too much in some cases, and I could do some things better with that, but being cautious, maybe even more cautious in some cases, and maybe less in some others that we'll look at later in the video. But I think the cautious mindset is where it needs to be. Establishing a source of food, be it a farm or animals or whatever, because of the healing mechanism in the game where you heal if you're not hungry, really makes a big difference. And I definitely think it was a good idea to be able to have bread or meat or whatever available early and easy without having to spend a bunch of time scavenging for it when it was suddenly important and I was almost dead. Having it in my inventory is great, and I think I would do that again. Something that surprised me was just how useful the dogs were. Bumping into those wolves early made the game a lot easier in a time when it could have been a lot of me running away from enemies. Instead, it was me watching enemies die because the wolves become dogs save me from a whole bunch of effort. I don't know that I would specifically go hunt them out, but having them as, like, running into them and taking the effort to make them into allies was definitely worth the bones that I found. And I would definitely do that again. Okay, now let's talk about some of the bad things. So, one of the most obvious things that I did was neglecting some warning signs about dangerous things that were happening around me and not really treating it with the respect that it needed. So, if you look, you can see that creepers are falling, other mobs are falling from up high in this cavern, and I'm just treating it as something that could never happen while I'm nearby. But it's happening over and over in front of me, and I should have been aware that right above me something could have been happening like that. I need to pay attention to things that are indicating that there is danger, and that is that. I think I made a farm too early in this series, and it kind of tried to root me down to a spot that wasn't necessarily the best location. So all of my further activity, including searching for cows, looking for more minerals, looking for other animals and sheep, it all was kind of hampered by being centered on a spot that didn't have any of that around it. So I think what I need to do is not be so set on one location, the first location I find, and maybe be a little bit more discriminating. I spent a bunch of time looking for cows, looking for sheep, looking for other animals, and trying to bring them back to one location. As I mentioned earlier, I kind of set on a location that didn't have any of that pretty early, so that kind of ties together in that maybe if I had spent a little more time exploring, I could have found animals along the way and not get stuck spending so much time looking for them and trying to bring them back, and looking for them and trying to bring them back. I think if I need to, next time I'll do a little bit more thought about where these animals are going to be and using that as my focus of a center or a base instead of finding a base and then trying to find the animals. So let's talk about some of the improvements that I could make. So some very specific things are, in caverns, if it's dark and I'm seeing creatures falling, I need to make an effort to light it up where they might be spawning so they can't fall on me. Or make a ceiling, or do a more protective view of things. Don't walk out in the open. Stay away from the center of the cavern, or ensure that things can't be falling on my head and killing me, as we saw, unfortunately, in the last episode. As I mentioned earlier, another improvement would be don't create the base as early as I did. Go into nomad mode, do a lot more exploring, don't get so centered on creating a base before you have any reason to have a base in that location. I think my focus next time really needs to be on finding sheep and finding cows so I can get the bed early, as well as using the cows that I find to create any armor. Because as I was going along looking for chickens, I ended up with way more armor than I could ever use. And I had already had a full set, and it was time to start making iron armor at that point. So I died with a ton of armor just sitting around. Something I regret is that I had that spawner right underneath me that I could have used for all kinds of stuff, and I didn't do anything with it earlier. I think going forward, if I find a spawner, I'm going to make an effort to use it right then and there, try to exploit it for the objects it can drop, as well as the experience, and try to get something interesting out of it early on, instead of making plans to come back to it later and then dying and never getting the chance. So that would have been an interesting thing. I'm going to definitely put a little more focus on the spawners. Well, this is the official end of Season 1. I'm looking forward to Season 2 and being able to try some of my optimizations that I came up with. Please like, subscribe, and comment. I'm planning on doing more Minecraft for Season 2, but I'm not set on any of the details. So if there's anything specific you'd like, go ahead and put it in the comments and we can see about trying some of that out. If there's different seeds that you want to see me try to play, or different focus that you'd like, or, and more importantly, if there are things that I missed when you were watching me play. I'm sure there are things that you do when you play that you were wondering, well, wait, if he just did this, it would make it so much easier. So if you have any of those ideas, any of those suggestions, put them in the comments. We can have a little discussion about it. See if maybe these things would be improvements that would make me die less. Because we only got 8 episodes in, and this 8th one is kind of shouldn't even count. We really got 7 episodes in before I died, and then I'm doing this 8th one just talking about it. Give me some comments. Tell me what I need to do better, and we can see if we all agree and what else we could do there. So this is Arfahat. I'm looking forward to Season 2. Until next time.